Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to my channel. And for those who have found me, welcome. Glad to have you. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and also share me. Pass me along to family, friends, co-workers. Today, we are going to tackle a message regarding forgiveness. So this is something that I've been going back and forth with. It's a message, and actually this is something that is personally connected to me as well. I've had issues with forgiveness. Two family members that have passed over within this, I would say within 5-6 years, and they passed over. We never got to work out what the issue is. You never got to tell them that you forgave them. But here's the thing. What if you didn't forgive them? What if what they had done in life to you was so cruel that it made it hard to forgive them? And here's the thing with that. No one knows the day or the hour, how much time you have to actually heal, because that's what it is. That's more than likely why you're not rushing to apologize to that person. You're trying to work this out in your own mind, in your heart. And for some of us, it's not so quick. Some of us don't process our emotions as quickly and with so much clarity, because for you to do it quickly, you need clarity. Some of us really have to search our souls. And depending on the relationship, because for me, my relationships were close. A sibling and also a parent. Your parent, in which it was my father, I don't want to say it was easy to forgive. I had a dysfunctional family, and we had a fallout, and this fallout went on for close to 2 years. And in that second year, my father had gotten sick. And it was to the point where he was going to pass over. And I had to go and make amends and forgive, because the forgiveness was for me. And also too, it's your parent, it's your father. I don't know when the next time I'll see you or if I'll see you. So yes, in this instance, I have to forgive. I don't have the luxury of going home and working out my father wound, if you want to say. My second family member, that would be a sister, and siblings, they, rivalry, you go back and forth. We've been fighting from the womb to the tomb. We had some issues before her death, and we never got a chance to resolve them. So the cruelty, now that's where this comes in. When you trust someone, and with any secret, with something that's very deep, and because you two aren't on good terms, they weaponize themselves with things that are secrets of your own, something they vow to hold because you can trust them. Anything that makes you vulnerable, they're going to use that against you. So I went through a really bad episode where my sister and I just really went back and forth. I come from a family on my maternal side where sisters fall out. Where we were the third generation of sisters to fall out. Now, my father always would say, hey, I need you two to stick together. And I understood why. My sister, maybe not so much, or maybe it really didn't land well with her, but I knew what he meant. But we are the third generation of sisters to have a fallout. And like I said, you don't know the day nor the hour. So you may not have time. And I remember before my sister passed away, I said, well, whenever she's ready to apologize, whenever she's ready to come correct, I'll be here and we'll come back together and everything will be everything. And that wasn't so. I would say within a year of the fallout, she passed away. So you don't get a chance, but in all actuality, you do. You know, death isn't the end. Even though they're not here, they actually are here with us. I've been able to work a lot of things out, and hopefully through this reading, because I've just been talking, whoever this lands for, because it may not be for everyone, it could be for someone, it could be for no one, but whatever you can take away from it, great. I've been of service. If it doesn't land, I just thank you for tuning in. So let's get started. I've already gotten a prayer. We're jumping right into this because I knew I was going to run my mouth on this. This is a big one. Everybody is dealing with forgiveness, either wanting forgiveness or needing to forgive. So what I want to do is actually take a look, collective, at your energy, your spirit. Let's see where you are. Spirit. Whoa. I got a lot there, but we cannot take them all, right? And I had a few that fell on the floor. So before we go any further, let me get those on the floor. Okay, so had some that fell on the floor and a few too many right here in front of me. But the one that was on the floor was up, so I am going to take that, and that was envy. So we are heading into, we're talking about forgiveness and someone that's been cruel to you, and maybe they've been cruel because they're envious. That could be. That sometimes leads to people being cruel. Honesty. Collective, be honest with you about how this makes you feel. Just search your mind about it. If you actually think it's time, by all means. And that's another thing. Blame. We're getting blame here. So the cruelty in this is they do something to you, but make it seem as if that you've done harm to them. They put the blame on you. Now, I see how this is rolling. Wow. So bigger person, and I think that's what this is going to come down to in some sense, and we'll talk about that. Bigger person is you quickly forgiving that person because you don't want any conflict or tension or spiritual maturity. What would Jesus do? And that's not a bad thing. That's a good state of mind if that's where you're at. But to each his own on how soon you get there, because you want it to be genuine. You want to be authentic in that forgiveness. Some people will not care if it's authentic or not. Some people genuinely want your forgiveness. So I feel as if they're going to pick up on that it is not that authentic if you really and truly haven't forgiven me. Your body language, your tail, your nervous system, how you are around them. Death. Things do have to come to an end. It has to come to an end as far as you feeling that you have to make it easier for the person that's being cruel to you. You've got to take the high road or be the bigger person and just realize that it isn't that deep. And this is something we can get over. And that's a lot too with family. Family, we're big for that. Change. Maybe change your perspective, your view on this. As far as I'm saying change your perspective on this because I'm thinking that this is hitting someone or few. I can identify with the whole point of dealing with someone that is jealous of you And because they're jealous of you and they're immature, they don't know how to handle their emotions, so they may tell lies, lie on you, defame you. Remember, honesty came out. They can't be honest. And anything that's wrong, anything that they can blame on you, they would. Death means it's time. It's time to end it. It's over. And a change, meaning a change to your perspective. You don't have to move the way you traditionally would move with this. I don't know the level of pain. I'm going to first say that. We can take a look and see what we can get out of this. If it'll give us a little more insight. But if this is about forgiveness and someone needs to forgive somebody, or someone's asking for forgiveness, someone is looking for forgiveness, either way. But in the collective, I hope that it's you that is giving the forgiveness. I hate that you have to, but not the other way around, and you looking for it as if that you've done something. But let's see what we can get. So we're going to do a little tarot and see what that lets us know. It's a Five of Pentacles. Okay. Five of Pentacles. You're in despair, a lack of trouble, financial issues could be. Let's see what else we can get with this. And that also kind of tells me right out the bat that this could also be about money. Seven of Pentacles. In the Pentacles, we are talking about Earth, Virgo, Taurus. So I was on to something, okay, on to something with the money thing. That's Seven of Pentacles, long term, something you've put work into, you've had patience with, perseverance. Okay, we've got a Knight of Wands. That's giving us some fire there. So they're coming in to kind of give you some energy and get the job done. Okay. Let's see what else we can get here. Okay. One on the floor. And that is an Eight of Swords. Slavery, isolation, self-contained, and you could be self-contained by your own thoughts on maybe how to forgive somebody. Maybe you actually are a little bound in your mind about how this should go. Should I forgive? Should I forgive now? Have I forgiven? You're going back and forth here. Seven of Swords, and that is air. We are talking about Gemini, Libra. So automatically, I'm actually trying to put together the energies that I feel, but sometimes you actually really have to let things play out, like a story has to play out. It's a Seven of Swords, and there is someone in your life that actually, they do some cunning things. They do some trickery things. They're not someone that should be trusted. They're a little sneaky. You can see it. They're a little sneaky. Spirit, more for the collective. Collective, that is you. You're out here like the star. And for the star, someone would prey on the star and do something cruel. That and more than likely, out here as the star, you could be creative, maybe even a little sensitive. So someone being cruel to you could be heavy in it could really hurt more than maybe someone else that didn't take it so heavy or seriously. So I say that to say, whoever would try to hurt this star out here in the collective, that's not right. Okay, here's the Five of Cups out here again. I'm working with two decks into one. And that was our first card out, right? First card out was the Five of Pentacles. After the Five of Pentacles, what came out after that was a Queen of Cups. Okay, Five of Pentacles, that is Earth. And Queen of Cups, we got some water there. That is Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. So when this card right here comes out, I always look at her and I either think about mother or grandmother. And I'm not sure which. But that Queen of Cups came right out after that Five of Pentacles. So I think that maybe the person that was cool to you, more than likely, was a family member. I don't know if it was grandmother, mother, aunt, but I do take it as family. And I do take it as it was very painful. Let's see what else we can get. Spirit, more for the collective. All you want is a happy family. That's all you want. You just want everybody to be okay. Everyone to love one another unconditionally. But I think with this mother here, there's conditions on that love. Yeah, it's conditions on it. When that Ten of Cups came out, that's happiness, divine happiness. I look at a family, and it came right out after the Queen of Cups. And that may be what they want. But I don't think so. I don't think that's actually what they really, I don't know if they really know what they want. I can't make that up. Come on out here, collective. Come on and shine. Come on and shine. What I think this is saying here, someone was cruel to you. They did something that was wrong. Wrap your mind around it. Wrap your mind around it, okay? Let's not try to figure out why they did it. It's not the why. Go on to higher ground. You could be the bigger person in this one. You can forgive and walk away, because I think this is something deep. I think it is like maybe a mother wound. And when I say walk away, you'll never walk away from your mother. You can put some boundaries up. And I think that is actually that needs to be done, because when this first started out, it started out with the Five of Pentacles, then it went to the Seven of Pentacles. We started out with Pentacles, and then we doubled down on that Five of Pentacles. Sorry, I had something that fell on the floor. We had the World card. So right before that, and I'm sorry, Eight of Cups, that's water. You're going to higher ground and you're walking away, and you should. You can forgive someone and go your own way. Look, that is the World card. Okay, that's letting you know that a completion to that whole little cycle of, do I forgive? When do I forgive? How does this affect me? The whole moral to this is this right here. You can go back and forth with this in your mind. I don't know the situation. Okay. So I'm about to shuffle, but this is a King of Swords that came out, and it came out in reverse. We're talking about someone being unfair, wrong decisions, conflict, illegal actions. Yeah. Yeah, you go and shine somewhere else and from around these people. And I don't know who the people are. I can't tell you. I do know that it is family. That Queen of Cups, um, the way that they came out just lets me know that it's family. It possibly is a mother. Grandmothers are sweet. My grandmother was sweet. I couldn't see her, you know, really going after me about money, being cunning, trickery. Okay, so correction on this. This is the Emperor. Okay, it's in reverse. So again, we talked about unfairness, and somebody that treated you cruelly, it would be unfair. It is a King of Sword out here. That's air. That's your Libra, Gemini. Your King of Sword wants to help you out with this. They want to be diplomatic, almost as if like a referee or a buffer. So again, this is family. And then a Queen of Wands came out, and and I don't know, because these two queens could be together, but she's spicy. She's very, very fiery, and I'm sure she's gonna tell you her mind. And it could come off as cruelty. You know, I'll say that. Fire signs or fires, they kind of feisty, and they don't realize that they've come off too hot until they burn things down to the ground. Okay, we've got a King of Cups, and it's falling right under this Queen of Cups. But the King of Cups, it's in reverse, okay? Immature, bad advice, insecure, deception. I don't like it. I don't. And you have got a Nine of Swords. So King and Queen, and that Queen and that King in reverse, they're worried because you know you're wrong. So look, this is family. This is family. Even if it would come out what it was that they need to feel ashamed and worried about, I would never put that out here on YouTube to the collective. I just would never do it. But if this landed for someone, you would know what you need to forgive someone for. You would know it. And if it didn't register, you know, for you, then you don't need to forgive someone. You know, maybe somebody needs to be begging, you know, for your, however, vice versa. Let's just say that. But point being, they know they did you wrong. And we talked about being a bigger person. You can be the bigger person. Examples of forgiveness. If you forgive too slow, that means you're holding a grudge. This is how society looks at it. But if you forgive quickly, then you're spiritually mature. You're awake. This is acceptable. I don't care what society says as a whole as to how soon or when you forgive. Each circumstance is different. My circumstance, just like this one here, this is about family, and it's immediate family. And I'm looking at, I think, a mother and father here. Some type of cruelty. And look, I don't know why I started this out telling you about forgiving my father, and we had not spoken It was a couple of years. And when we did, I would say about a month and a half later, he passed away. And it was me having to come to him because I feel my father was wrong. But it was me having to come to him as the child and, ask for forgiveness. How about that? And in return, I remember him saying to me, I'm glad that you were the bigger person. So when I started that out about being a bigger person, that's up to you. In that time, in that moment, I have a parent that's passing. So yeah, I've got to be the bigger person. And especially too, if you care about them, the first thing out of my mouth, and we hadn't spoken in 2 years, was, I love you. He looked at me astonished. Yeah, look, all this this whole whatever you've done in forgiveness, that's all out the window. We're talking about life and death now, even though death is not the end. But it feels like that when it's happening in real time. So again, you may not have a lot of time to forgive. Each circumstance is different. But you go at what you feel is right, what you feel makes you feel respected, like you feel actually dignified in how you're moving on this, because everyone is not going to agree with you. Some people will think that you're being selfish. Well, I can't believe you. Yeah, but can't you believe what the cruel thing that was done to me? So you understand what I'm saying? Because you won't forgive the victimizer, that makes you the bad guy. No, it does not. Not most certainly. You forgive when you're ready to, take it to God in prayer. God will help you. He'll open your heart, or he'll lead you away from what does not serve you or bring you closer to what you love, and maybe see things in a different light. And, for this, a family gets to go on together. And that's what I hope, because at the end of the day, you still family and there's still some love, even if it's dysfunctional. I know about that, but you still love each other and you belong to each other's clan. So again, I hope that this was good as far as, giving different point of views as far as forgiveness. To each his own. Again, I really always enjoy spending the time. And I do hope that this one really did help someone, because it helped me. It makes me think about forgiveness and being grateful that I have that type of heart and that God opened my heart to forgive. So I hope he does the same for anybody out there that needs it. God bless you guys, and I will see you soon.